Hello everyone, it is I, Mr. Tag, and I want to thank you again for you Tag Champions checking out my latest video. So today I'm doing something a bit different. Obviously you can see my face on the screen, that's a little bit different for a start. Hope it doesn't scare you away. But also, so I'm going to be doing a tier list, but a slightly different tier list. So I'm going to be ranking every psychic monster in Edison format. So as you can see, we've got 5 tiers and then another tier on the bottom there if you can read it. So quickly go through what the tiers mean. So in S tier, so for S tier, the psychic monster has to be not only playable, very playable, but also viable in other decks outside of a dedicated psychic deck, which actually aren't many psychics that are viable in non-psychic decks. So that'd be really good and also viable in other psychic decks. A is like, amazing in a psychic deck. B is very good. C is still playable. It's a playable card. It's not great. D is starting to get into either really niche uses or just generally not that great, but you could still maybe do something with it. And Telekinetic Shocker tier is, quite frankly, it sucks. It's really, really bad. So, without further ado, let's get started here. First off, we have Magical Android. And when you think about it, Android is actually not that good, really. I mean, it's level 5 synchro. There's not very many of those in Edison format. 2400, which is it's not bad. It trades with the Monarch. Getting life points in the end phase, it's a thing that happens. But you have basically, we really do have 2 level 5 synchros that you'll see in most Edison decks. Android cannot beat Catasta unless Catasta's been flipped face down, because Catasta will always beat Android. So really, Android's actually not that great. I mean, it's still playable, definitely. It sees play. Like, it sees play because it's the other level 5 synchro. So this might be controversial, when this wants to work. I'm going to put Android in C. Playable. You play it because you have to in psychic decks and other decks, not because you want to. Next is this Hyper Psychic Blaster Assault Mode. This thing it's already hard enough to make Hyper Psychic Blaster in Edison format. Even in Psychics, you have to do the big combo most of the time. So then to have to go through more hoops to get this the Assault Mode activate on the field and then activate it to get a monster which, the effect's not bad. You do the damage equal to, I think, the difference between the attack and defense, like piercing, and then you gain life points equal to the attack of the monster you killed. It's not bad. It's a slightly better Hyper Psychic Blaster. And then, if it dies, get Hyper Psychic Blaster back. But it's jumping through a lot of hoops. I mean, it's not as bad as Telekinetic Shocker. You could do a build around if you wanted to, but really, come on, why can't I grab it? Okay, there we go. This is a D tier. This is very, very niche, honestly. It's not that great. You don't. No. Anyway, Dr. Cranium. I think this card is very underrated. This can search, except the synchros, obviously, every single monster you see there when it's destroyed by battle, the cost of 800 life points. Most other cards, will say they're level 4 or lower, or have another specific, thing they need for you to be able to search them. But Dr. Cranium just says, pay 800, search whatever psychic monster you want. So, well, I definitely haven't been destroyed by battle. It's not the best. But setting this turn 1, getting what he wants, pretty good. This is a B tier card. Definitely a B tier card. Not quite A. I wouldn't say it's amazing. You can definitely build a deck without it. But, again, just search whatever you want. Whatever psychic monster you want. That's crazy. Our next is Stormcaller. So this is one you guys might not see very often. So this one basically allows all your psychics, when they destroy a monster by battle, to stack that monster on top of your opponent's deck instead of sending it to the graveyard, which is not a terrible effect for a level 6. However, if this monster is destroyed by a card effect, you take damage equal to, I believe, its entire attack. I'm just going to quickly double check that. Yeah, you take damage equal to its original attack. So you take 2300 if this thing is destroyed by a Raigeki Break. I don't mind its effect. I don't think it's quite D tier. I think it's definitely C tier. It's probably bottom of C tier, honestly. It's playable, but it's not great. Okay, Grapple Blocker. So this thing basically says target a monster on the field. It can't attack or be tributed while Grapple Blocker is on the field. Now, the big thing not being able to be tributed is not bad. It means your opponent can't just go, Caius, and then your grapple block is useless. But it doesn't stop synchro summons. And you have to pay 500 life points every turn to keep this thing on the field. It's 1200, 1800 from memory, which is, not great. 1200, 2000. But you want this in attack, but you want to summon this in attack so you can use its effect. So you'd rather it be the other way around. Again, I think you could definitely do something with this. I just don't think it's that great. It's definitely a C tier card. Life Force Harmonizer. So this thing, if your opponent would do effect damage, you can, I'm pretty sure this is a discard or send it to the graveyard, one of those two. Yeah, you discard it to negate the activation of that card's effect and destroy it. So I mean, you can destroy a Caius, negate a Caius, that's targeting a dark monster. No, you would already, the dark monster has to go to be banished first. So you would get rid of the Caius, but your monster would still be banished. So that's kind of annoying. It is level 2, which is good, because it works with telekinetic power well. But I don't think it's that great. There are better level 2s you could be playing, so it's a D tier. Okay, telekinetic shocker. This card sucks. This card is awful. So this card says, you pay, if another psychic monster will be destroyed, you pay 500 life points and destroy this monster instead. Cool. If it was just the first effect, it'd be a really good card. It'd be A or B tier. But the fact that it blows itself up, it's just awful. I mean, I know there are probably very niche uses for this card. I'm just going to quickly look at the wording because I just want to make sure if it says monster or monsters. Okay, I mean, if you're running into like Mirror Force, telekinetic shock is pretty good. But usually if you're doing full combo, you're making sure they don't have any back row. So you don't play this. It's level 4, so you can't get Majesty Teleport, can't be Power Weld, can't be 1-for-1. So no. Get in that really bad tier, you awful, awful thing. Destructotron. Pay 1,000, destroy as many set spells and traps as you want. That's amazing. I would definitely put this in A. It's not quite S tier, although you can side this in other decks if you want to, if you just want to quickly get rid of stuff and then go for your push in your other deck. But I don't think it's quite S, because they can obviously flip that card up to destroy set spells and traps. So they have a floodgate, doesn't get rid of the floodgate. So it's not quite there in the S tier, but I think it's definitely an A tier card and definitely should see more play. Okay, here's the first S tier card, Krebons. I mean, this should be quite obvious. Krebons is in Welly Dad. He's in other decks, surrounded by dark decks that want to synchro. He can pay 800 to stop an attack on himself, so he can stick around for a Caius play or for a synchro play. It's power well target, emergency teleport target. Krebons is just amazing. Definitely the first S tier card. Not the only one. Definitely the first one. Probably between this and the other option for which would be like the best one. But Krebons is definitely S tier. Psychic Emperor. So when this thing is summoned, you gain 500 life points every psychic monster in your graveyard. It's 2400, so it trades with a monarch. It doesn't beat a monarch. I get what they're going for. You pay lots of life points to do things, and then, oh look, it's near the end of the game. Oh look, you summon the Emperor, and then you can do big combo stuff because you got your life points back. But I don't see why you would play this. You would have a Stormcaller. I don't know if I want to put this low C or high D. It's probably high D, to be honest. Yeah, let's go top of D. I wouldn't play this, really, except maybe in some sort of gimmicky deck. But yeah, Genetic Woman. I think this card is severely underrated. Basically, you pay 1,000, target a psychic type monster that's banished, add it to your hand. So if you gold suck for something, you basically get it straight away. 1,700 is not awful. It's not an A tier card. I think it's definitely a B tier card though. Because Dr. Cranium, probably not as good as Dr. Cranium, but I think, it has its uses. I use it in Psychic OTK. Because that way, hey, if you don't have access to Mind Master, and you can at least gold psych Mind Master and bring it back. Or if it's, for some reason, the game's gone really long, you got some banished psychics, just bring one back. It's not bad. There are spell cards which do it better, but it's easier to get this because of Dr. Cranium, because you can search Genetic Woman while all the spells are not searchable. Armored Axon Kicker. I think this card is very, very underexplored. It can summon. It can be normal summoned if you control a sucking monster without tributes, which is really good. And when it destroys a monster by battle, you take damage equal to the difference. You know, the life point damage. If you you take half of their attack as damage, and then you can summon a sucking monster from your graveyard with attack equal to or less than the damage you took. I think there's something there. I haven't quite figured it out, but I think there's something there. I think it's definitely a B tier card. I think someone smarter than me can probably break this card. But I haven't done it yet. No one's done it yet, but I think there is something there. Next, Hyper Psychic Blaster. Great card. 3k. When it does piercing damage, you gain the surplus back. So basically, if you do 2,000 damage, you get the 2,000 back, which is really good in the mid to late game. This is your OTK enabler. This is the dude that gets you the Psychic OTK. Is it an A tier card? In Edison format, no. Maybe in later formats when you have more psychics, this thing is easier to summon, definitely. But right now, no, he's definitely B tier. Probably upper echelon of B tier, but he's not quite A tier. But definitely a really good card. And definitely should be in your psychic, in your list down there. You could even play this in non-psychic decks. You just need a non-tuner psychic monster. Which, hey, one of these synchros is a non-tuner psychic monster. So there you go. Power Injector, pay 5, all your monsters gain 6 till the end of the turn. This does enable OTKs with Psychic Borg. It's alright. Let's see monsters hit over stuff they wouldn't normally be able to hit over. Is it high C or low B? High C, low B. I'm going to put a high C, high-ish C. Definitely playable. You definitely have to build your deck so it can take advantage of this. I wouldn't use this in the regular Psychic OTK, but like Borg OTK. You definitely play this to help your Borgs push through even further. Yeah, maybe, if Borg OTK becomes more popular, I'd bump this up. But for now, C tier. Psychic Jumper. This is a B tier card. 100%. Probably about there. Being able to essentially go, oh, hey, I've got a Dr. Cranium and this on the field, and you've got a Gadgetron Dragon. Okay, now you have Dr. Cranium, and now I have your Gadgetron Dragon. And now I get to search off Dr. Cranium when it's destroyed. Psychic Jumper. This would be, if this didn't need to target another Psychic monster, this would be an S tier card, 100%. But it can't give itself to the opponent as part of its effect, which kind of sucks. And it does cost 1,000 life points, which, depending where you are, is kind of steep. It is a steep cost. So I think it's a B tier card. It's level 2, so it's power will target. It's tuner, which is really good as well. Although psychics are not lacking in that department. It always helps to be a tuner, so it's a emergency teleport target. It's all the good things you want in a psychic monster. So yeah, very good card. You might even, I don't think it's worth playing this in non-psychic decks, but you could try it. Maybe you play a lot of Krebons in your other decks and you go, oh hey, I'm going to give you a Krebons for some reason. That's probably actually not that good. Don't do that. Forget I said anything. Don't do that. Life Transfer, again. This it's a C tier. It's not as, I wouldn't say it's worse than, it's worse than Android because level 7 with 2400. I mean, this if you're playing an on-psychic deck and you want to go into Blaster, you'd summon this. You summon like any level 2 tuner, you can go into Blaster if you want to. This does nothing in non-psychic decks except be a 2400 beta. Banishing something for 1200 can set up plays with other cards. It's just not that good. The only thing going for it is that it trades with Black Rose, it beats Herbellum, beats Junk Archer. Like, it beats the level 7s you'd normally see. But there are some level 7 synchros which are better than it, which have higher attack. They're niche, but they exist. So that's why it's got to be C tier. It's not D tier. Like, I mean, other decks play it, again, mostly because they have to, not because they want to. It's just that, the synchro pool in Edison is really small. And of course you play in your Psychic deck anyway because, it enables the OTK. Master Gig. If this was a level 6, this would be an A tier card. 100%. Pay 1,000, destroy as many monsters on the field for as many Psychic monsters you control. That's crazy. But it's a 2 tribute monster. So I can't put this any higher than C. I'd probably put it, we'll put it here. I reckon there's probably some funny things you can do with this with like Phantom of Chaos. Build focused on that. You just send Master Geek to the graveyard, banish it with Phantom of Chaos when you've got some Psychics on the board, blow up all your opponent's Psychic, or your opponent's monsters, and then go for game. That could be pretty funny. But it's just unfortunate it's level 8. I mean, it would probably be too good if it was level 6, but, you know, it's a 2 tribute monster at the end of the day, which aren't great. So, Mind Master, I mean, yeah, it's top of A. This enables the OTKs, this enables so many stupid plays, it's crazy. But since it has to tribute a Psychic monster, it can't be S tier because you can't play it in non-Psychic decks. It's not as good as Substitute, unfortunately. But, still a broken card. There's a reason this card gets banned. I think, is it banned by Tengu? I think it's banned by Tengu, or maybe even before that. So it's already a 1 in Edison. So you can see how crazy this card is. But I cannot put it in S tier only because it can't really be played outside of Psychic decks. Alright, Overdrive Teleporter is another A tier card. Level 6, I can summon 2 level 3 monsters from deck. 2 level 3 Psychics. 2 level 3 Psychics. That's crazy for Edison format. That's even crazy for modern format. Summoning 2 monsters from the deck. That's crazy. It is on normal summon. This cannot be special summoned. So it does take up your normal. But that is insane advantage. It does cost you 2k. But when you're doing this, you're essentially trying to push for game. Crazy card. It's just, you know, the one restriction I don't like is it has to be level 3s. So there's a little bit of a build around. Even though the OTK uses level 3s. But for other decks, it's kind of like, if this could summon Krebons, it'd be much better. But anyway, still a really, really good card. I wish I had my 3rd copy. I only have 2. I want to build a deck around 3, as you guys would have seen. Really good card. Panda Borg is B tier. Probably here. Destroy by battle. Summon level 4 Psychic monster from deck. 1700. It's not bad. He's water, so you can do some... Probably make some silly builds with like heroes. You want to make absolute 0. Not a bad card. Not a bad card. I mean, it's a good card. It's just unfortunate and is locked into level 4s. I mean, if this summoned any, then it would kind of make Dr. Cranium kind of useless in most situations. And the Psychic level 4s in Edison are kind of lacking. I mean, yeah, Panda Borg, Genetic Woman, Destructotron, and then, you know, Borg as well. So it's actually not that quite like it. Actually not bad. But if you see some of the Krebons, or Mind Master, any of these other really good cards, like Commander, it's such a much better card. But still, keeping that board presence up, it can summon itself. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Mind Protector. This, C tier. C tier card. Now, 2200 defense on level 3 is pretty good. It's not a bad turn 1 set. And being able to lock out your opponent's smaller monsters from attacking. So this thing will says monsters with 2000 or less attack cannot attack unless they're Psychic monsters. So this can stop, maybe your opponent goes in with like, I don't know, their 2000 monster, and then maybe they have another monster which maybe gets a boost from which could get a boost from somewhere else. They can't attack with it. Its downsides are it costs 500 to keep it on the field. And generally, it doesn't stick around long enough for it to effectively really be that relevant. You do play it in the OTK because you need a level 3 non-tuner to be able to do it. And there's probably some funny things you can do with it, but in Edison format, it's kind of limited in its use. Commander. Even though I say he does see play in non-Psychic decks, but he's not as good as Krebons because he is level 3, so he's not a power well target. That is the one big thing. And he can't stop attacks. He just can make himself basically a 1900 when he's by himself. Or you can, you know, can stop some of the other monsters getting run over, which is pretty good. I'd say he's A tier. Level 3 tuner, which gives someone off teleport's good. Like I said, he's played in other decks, but he's not as good as Krebons because he's not a powerful target. Those are mainly the two main downsides to this card. I mean, downsides, I say as I put an A tier. Yeah, still a great card. It can be summoned off Overdrive Teleporter. Actually, it's probably not as good as Teleporter, actually. Wait, switch around. But yeah, still a really good card. I really do like this card. Borg, he is probably top of B tier. Come on, move over. This enables a different type of OTK, the Borg OTK, which basically involves you get 3 of these guys on the field, and then you can banish stuff, which gets them all to 2500 each. So you have 7500, then you just need another way to push, which is usually Power Injector, or just on the monster on the field. It's a really good card. I really like its design. I reckon it looks really cool as well. Yeah, that's a way to grade cards by how good they look. But no, I think the fact that he can, and you can do it twice per turn, the boost. So he's 1500. You banish 2 psychics, make him 25. And if he sticks around, you can do that again, and again, and again. He gets out of hand in 2 turns. Not many cards in Edison format can get over 3k, let alone 3500. And that's on a level 4, which can be summoned off Pandaborg. So I think this is a really good card. I say this is almost A tier. It does require setup, unfortunately. If you summon this and you have nothing in the graveyard, it's like, okay, you've got a 1500, which does nothing. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, this is the other S tier card, Thought Ruler Archfiend. He's not... How did I grab you instead? No. Where does Thought Ruler Archfiend go? He's not D tier, holy crap. He's S tier. He is... Oh, come on. It's probably the best psychic monster in Edison format. A level 8 Synchro, which cannot be targeted by spells and traps because you can negate that. Destroys monsters. He gains their attack. You gain his life points back through his attack. For their attack. So you can essentially pay for his effect. It costs 1,000 to negate the spell trap that targets him. Or a psychic monster. But generally in other decks it's just targeting him. You can negate that. Yeah, then you gain life points back. You destroy a monster by battle. Just all around really good card for Edison format. Really great card, probably the best psychic in Edison format. In the psychic deck, not necessarily. You don't even really use it in the OTK. But for psychics as a whole, 100% the best psychic in Edison format. Then we have Snail. Snail's a B tier card, definitely. He's about there. He's 1900 first of all, which is really good. He's going to beat over most of the threats, level 4 threats in Edison format, or at least trade with them without having to pay life points like Commander would. And his other effect gets you the OTK, pay 800, target another psychic monster on the field, and that monster can attack twice. Which is crazy to think about, really. I mean, he can't attack, but he's generally not sticking around anyway, because then you contribute him with a Mind Master or Synchro it off, and that monster and the big monster that you targeted can still attack twice, and the new monster that you summoned can also attack. So it's not like a big wide restriction which other cards have, like say Sirocco, which says, you target the Black Wing with that effect, and only that card can attack this turn. No, Snail's not that. Hasn't got that kind of restriction. It's only him that can't attack. Anyway, this is the tier list. I think this is pretty accurate. Feel free to argue with me in the comments below. If there's any telekinetic shocker enjoyers out there, maybe we can throw down one day, or I'll take you on. But I think this is pretty accurate. Like I said, anything above, that C tier and above is definitely 100%. You play those. You can play these cards in some capacity, D tier, I'd be very surprised if you did. Maybe you play half Life Force Harmonizer if you in a side deck if you really fear burn decks. And you play Telekinetic Shocker if you hate yourself. Anyway, thank you, you tag champions, for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed this content. And I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.